in this episode we are going to be building my Red Komodo Kit. This is my cinema rig for 2026. I want to talk about all the parts, what goes into it, and how I use it for my day-to-day work. This was a huge investment that I made last year, and I am so glad I did it. I basically only had my Blackmagic 6K Pro for about 9 months. But I decided to take the plunge, and it has been worth it ever since. To recap, some of my highlighted favorite parts of this camera is the global shutter sensor, the dynamic range, the red workflow, as well as the ease of use to work with crews on set. So the brain is right here. It is put inside the 8-cin cage, as well as the Anton Bauer V-mount battery plate, as well as a D-tap splitter from Alvin's cables, which we'll get into in a minute. There is a Tilta single top rail adapter with a short carbon fiber rail. And yeah, that is basically the brain of the camera. Now we have the Tilta rail base plate. I can do a dedicated review on this, but essentially what this is you can put this base plate on any camera and you can put rails to it. So whether you're on a mirrorless camera like an FX3 or you're on a Red Komodo, the only issue is with the 8-cin cage, you can see it is not in the center of mass, which kind of does piss me off a little bit. Now let's talk about rails. So I actually have the exact same Pelican case configuration that I had with my Blackmagic. Still have the Trek Pack foam, but I was able to fit a full Red Komodo kit with 4 lenses, 2 V-mounts, a monitor, and the cables. We just barely put on the 2 SmallRig carbon fiber rails. These act as support as well as a spot for the wireless video to live. One of the best parts about this though is if there is extra weight, it kind of protects the entire thing, adds some form of stability, and is just an overall great little add-on. All right, this is the Core SWX V150. This is my favorite V-mount of all time. Not sponsored, but we'll do a dedicated review on this. To sum it up, it basically has a little screen on the top and will estimate how much time you have remaining, which is so game changer with the Komodo, and we'll get into STI protocol and all that. That just slides right onto the back of my V-mount plate, like so. Creates a little bit of weight, obviously, because the front is now, it's a little back heavy, but we'll put a lens on there. So I'm currently shooting on my favorite lens right now on the R5, which is the Sigma 24-1.4. So we're gonna shoot on my Zeiss Distagon 35. I do have a review on this lens. It's been one of my favorites on the Komodo, especially for the Super 35 sensor and just the overall excellent image quality. Sweet, so that goes on the front there. This is looking pretty good. I think this is like one of the cheaper Tilta rubber handles. Really like this one. I used to have the NATO one, and the NATO one broke actually. So I'm back to screw mount with the RE locating pins, and it's proven to be a pretty good addition. I run pretty heavy lenses when I rent them on this build, so I realized that NATO rails actually don't hold a ton of weight, whereas if you screw it on, as annoying as it is, it always seems to be pretty reliable. Now we have the SmallRig ball joint adapter. This is a really cheap monitor mount that I don't necessarily love to death, but it is under $50 and can hold the weight of a monitor pretty well. I would love to upgrade to a higher end monitor mount because it's just something I'm constantly tightening, but that basically lives on the mount like so. Little life hack with this one is there's this little multi-tool in here, so I like to use that to tighten all the different kind of screws and whatnot, especially the handle itself, and that can just live right back there. Cool. Now this is my latest purchase, the SmallHD Indy 7. This has been my favorite camera monitor I've ever owned. Literally nothing to complain about other than the price, but I got it on Black Friday, so I keep telling myself that that was a good deal. But the thing is that's great about SmallHD is they're partnered with Red, and so I could talk a little bit more about the accessories, but basically everything in this kit now is Red approved, which just means that Red has given the stamp of approval that it's reliable, that it works day in, day out, and that it's just compatible with the ecosystem. I really made sure to value that Red approvedness. I know some people that use stuff that isn't Red approved and they're still fine. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of warnings, and other times it's just it just scares me. As you've invested all this money into a camera, might as well you get stuff that the brand approves, in my opinion. All right, this is the Indy 7. This screws right on top here. And then it goes in like so. Now, most people will know this, but the Red Komodo is SDI only. Essentially, you have to plug in all the cables at the right order. Since getting it, I've kind of just adapted it into my workflow, and it's really not that big of a deal. Recently got the Hollyland Pyro 7, has these 2 side handles. It's a little cursed, but as I've worked with more ACs and I don't have to pull focus as much, I've basically kind of, I've adopted this 2 side handle workflow. We'll screw on a side handle right here. I will grab my handy dandy red multi-tool, but recently had a alternative brand break on me. So I think it's very important that we use the good stuff. You know, the stuff that won't break on us on set. Okay, and then we'll just screw on this other one on the side here. All right, so that right there has 2 side handles. Essentially what this means is when I'm running and gunning, this is kind of my shotgun, so I can actually hold things right up to my chest, or I can run around. And this has just been my new kind of favorite build now that I don't have to pull focus as much. We'll talk about what it's like pulling focus, and we'll also talk about solo shooting as well as with a crew with this camera. But this has kind of been my new favorite addition. Now, let's talk about the other thing in the room, which is obviously focus. And then we take this little motor here and we will put it on this top rail. So one of the reasons why I've adopted this new rail method is I can leave the follow focus on if I want to in my Pelican case. So the next thing we'll do is we will power the focus motor, which is right here. I recently got these cool little right angle adapters on Amazon. I used some cheaper ones before and they broke on me after the first day on set. This literally just goes from the USB-C on the top of the camera. So really clean, beautiful looking build. Now, let's get into some other goodies, okay? The Hollyland Pyro 7 kit, so I got the one with the director's monitor as well as the receiver and transmitter. And so essentially, this is what the transmitter looks like. What I've done is I've put the same adapter here, which is a Tilta 1/4 inch to rail adapter. What this does is this lets me slide on and off the Hollyland wireless kit. And allows me to get wireless video from the camera to the director or client. Now this essentially slides on the, it's really hard to see, but this will slide on the back. Now I'm going to start powering things before we do anything. So because of SDI protocol, we're going to power everything. I realized that the monitor is not powered. And then essentially right here, you have the Hollyland receiver, transmitter I mean, sorry. And we're just gonna take this little Condor Blue adapter, like so. Then we are going to grab the SDI cable. This is going from the camera to the monitor because both are powered on. And then we plug it in down here. I'm gonna link everything down in the description below. I got a lot of these elements on sale, so I did not pay full price. This SDI cable is probably my favorite SDI cable I've ever used. It's just really easy to slide in and out, and it was relatively inexpensive. So that's also a plus. We're just gonna wrap some cables here. All right, so to recap, what we have so far is we have the camera, the monitor, the battery, and the focus all powered. Now, this could be a very valid instance of solo shooting right here. So one of the other things in the solo shooting kit that I did not mention is I would screw on this NATO side rail to this side here and take my Nucleus Nano 2 and use this for personal focus pulling. But when I do have an AC that will be using this or the nicer Nucleus, I end up having both these handles so I can have more security because mine as well, as they're pulling focus, I don't need to worry about that. So let's complete the finished build now. So what we will do is we will take this Hollyland transmitter and we will slide it on the rail like so. All right. And then we will take this D-tap and put it on this splitter. Now, I think a lot of you will be wondering why you need a D-tap splitter when you have two inputs on the side here and this is USB-C. It's basically a really stupid reason. Anton Bauer plate is really stiff and you can't always get the D-taps in the sides here. So by having the splitter here, we're able to plug in stuff easily in and out, and also we're able to power the Hollyland and the SmallHD off of the same V-mount. So I used to need NPF specifically for this, but the whole build is now powered by one battery, which is super clean and really efficient when on set. All right, now that the Hollyland transmitter is up, we can plug in the last bit of SDI, and we have a full build here. This is essentially what my 2026 build looks like. It's super incredible. It looks a little bit crazy, but it does everything I need it to do. I have the camera brain here, I have the D-tap splitter, I have the cage that goes around it with the top plate, my super soft tilted top handle on top with my beautiful SmallHD Indy 7. I have my Tilta Nucleus Nano 2 focus, so I can pull focus personally or hand it off to an AC. I have two Hollyland side rails that came with the monitor kit. I have the Hollyland Pyro S transmitter on the back with the Core Nano X. So this is a really cool rig walkthrough video. I think there's a few other things I would like to mention. So sometimes if, for example, the Tilta follow focus is having problems, I still have a physical one. What's nice is you can just screw this on the top here and you still have a follow focus. I basically never pull focus manually without a follow focus. A few other things, I still have my Indy Pro V-mount from my Blackmagic kit. This is my second battery. So essentially on set, I only have two batteries right now. It's decent and I can get through the day as long as I have the other one on a charger. It takes about an hour and a half to charge one, and these batteries tend to last, I don't know, 4 hours, at least on this one. The core battery is actually smaller than the Indy Pro, and it is 150 watt hours, which is super sweet, and this is just 98. So this one will last shorter than this one. But all in all, I've learned to love this rig. This has been a huge investment and has quickly paid itself off, especially with the work that I do and just in general with my personal projects on the side. I still have the same lenses, so I still have the Sigma 24-1.4, the Zeiss 35 f2, the Canon 24-105 f4 IS, which I do need to do a video on because the IS does not work on the Komodo. So I probably should either sell this and move to something different, or something like a 2.8 or something. I don't know. I just haven't really been inspired with this on the Komodo. And then I also have the Helios 44-2. So a solid kit of lenses, but I still prefer to rent when the budget is there. Thank you guys for watching so much, and I will see you next week. Let's watch this back.